Hello, friends and fellow modelers. Thanks for joining me for another edition of Diecast Emporium Military Mondays, presented by my friends at smallscalehobbies.com. If you have not visited smallscalehobbies.com recently, I highly encourage you to do so. There is so much more and new inventory. You got to check it out, especially if you're into the HO scale hobby. Alright, subject of today's video is the M2 medium tank. The M2 medium tank never saw extensive military service in World War II, at least it never saw combat service. However, they were used as training vehicles as well as target practice here in the States, so it could be argued that the M2 was just as important as anything else in the war effort. Obviously, if you don't know how to operate a tank, if you don't know how to maintain a tank, take them apart, put them back together, all that kind of, all those things, then you're not going to be very effective when you get in a combat environment. So the M2, again, although obsolete by the start of World War II, did play a pretty crucial role, in my opinion, back stateside. Okay, so these two models are resin kits by AlsaCast. They go together really, really easily. The kits are very, very similar. Obviously, the A1 has a little bit of a different front end, and a little bit different turret design and gun design, but for the most part, it's pretty similar. You may notice that the tracks in the undercarriage, that kind of helped pave the way for the Stuarts and the Shermans and tanks that would be following very shortly thereafter, and obviously those proved to be a much bigger part of the war effort than these did. So let's take a look quickly before we bring the models out. We'll take a look at the instructions because it's really simple for both. Here you go. For the most part, I think there's like 6 pieces total. You got the 2 tracks, the body, the turret, the gun, and then a couple accessory pieces you can put on the back. Really fun, really simplistic to put together. It shouldn't take you very long at all. Alright, those are the boxes and the instructions. We're going to pause just for a second. When we come back, we'll have the spin table out and you get to see both models. Alright everyone, thanks for sticking with me. So first off, we have the M2, the first version. This one I like quite a lot. It has a lot of the smaller machine guns and things on it. There's actually 4 smaller machine guns that I painted and added to this model. Somewhat tedious to add because the parts are so small, but I think it turned out quite well. I am not done with these. I intend to add some decals and do a little bit better finished paint work on it. Obviously, you can see on the back there it's missing a little bit of paint. But overall, for HO scale, I'm kind of pleased with how they turned out, and they look good in the collection. Next up, we have the A1 version. Again, very, very similar, which is why I'm putting them both up at the same time. Very similar. You can see the front end is a little bit different. And on the A1 version, as you saw on the box, they don't have a lot of the machine guns mounted. You see the 2 on the front, but nothing in the rear. So I wanted to somewhat duplicate that, so at a glance you could immediately tell the difference. Also, another thing that I really like, which was my first time ever doing it, I used some panel wash on the back, and I hope that's coming through without being too terribly blurry. There you can see it a little bit. To give it a little bit of panel finish and panel line look to it. I think it kind of turned out pretty good. Obviously, it could be better, but for my first whack at it, I'm relatively pleased. Overall, as I said before, these resin models by AlsaCast, they're a lot of fun to put together. They're not too difficult by any stretch of the imagination, and I feel as though even if you are an entry-level military model hobbyist, you'll be able to pick these kits up and get straight to work and enjoy yourself. So that'll do it for this week's Military Mondays edition. Thank you all so much for watching. If you would, please give this video a like and share. And check out the other editions of Military Mondays that are on your screen right now. Take care, be well. I'll see you in the next review.